All right, I think we're live. Hello and welcome to week 12 of the Vikings 2021 season. This week, the Vikings are headed out to San Francisco, a place where they traditionally have not done very well. And I am hastily doing a live video because I don't know, it was kind of nice to do a video last week, and or I guess technically kind of a week and a half ago. It doesn't matter. And I didn't want to miss another week. This week, I am drinking the Trailside Strawberry Basil Cider from Duluth Cider, superior to the core. Oh, that's kind of cool. Reflects the superior to the core. It's 6% alcohol by volume, fruity and refreshing, gluten-free, made in Duluth, Minnesota, made with fresh pressed apples, absolutely no artificial flavors. Duluth cider is unpasteurized and should be kept cold. Get this handy thing on the back here. I don't know if that'll is the right way. It's not flipped or anything. Focus. There we go. As you can see, it's on the sweeter side. All right. I will be honest with all of you. I had this up in Duluth with Haley when we went up for a family camping weekend, and loved it very much. And I had been hoping to save it because I have a very special guest that I thought would get a real kick out of it. But the mind or the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. I drank the other one. So I can't really have one for them and one for me. I'm going to drink it myself this week and find something else instead. Let's crack it open. Now, I do hope, as I'm pouring this, to eventually do a live video sometime because it would be fun to have a guest on, go live, have some comments, have a little bit of interaction possible. Obviously, I'll have to schedule it so you all know it's coming, but it'd be nice to do one of these live, not just because I don't have time for the editing and everything. Someday. Now, I am delighted how pink and pretty that is, that rosé look. It's the first thing you get when you drink this is how potent the basil comes through in the aroma. I don't think it comes through that intimidatingly in the flavor, but I'll have to refresh my memory. Skull feel it there. Yeah, that's about as good as I remember. Yeah, so it's what struck me with this when I heard the strawberry basil cider was that it was going to be really weird to have basil and apples and whatever. Not at all. The sweetness of the strawberry, the basiliness of the basil, and like the tartness of the cider all balance so well in this. If you can find it somewhere, I highly recommend you get it. They also had a coffee one. I think I might have done that on this show. I don't remember. I loved their stuff. I highly recommend going up and visiting. The staff was very knowledgeable and also like about the whole scene up there in general. They recommended other breweries to try and other beers to try at each brewery and cidery and everything. So once again, Duluth cider, Trailside, strawberry basil. Can't recommend it enough. It's super easy drinking. Maybe more of a summer thing, but I'll drink it now. Okay, so on to today's game. After the Vikings won their Super Bowl against the Packers, a totally creative and original thing that every salty Packer fan definitely didn't use and treated it as if it was their own. They are now hoping at 5-5 to take down the 49ers, who are at 5-5. A game that has been mentioned a few times has big playoff implications because it could be a wild card spot they're fighting for. And this would give them a tiebreaker over the 49ers. The Vikings are going into this week absolutely eradicated on the defensive line. Michael Pierce has I think his elbow's messed up. Danielle Hunter is out for the season with his torn pec. Everson Griffin had his, I think they're calling it like a mental health episode. I don't want to be insensitive. I think that's kind of what they're calling it, and is out for this week. Their defensive line is decimated, and they're going up against one of the most run-heavy, like run-talented, run-scheming teams in the NFL. Look for the Vikings to get trucked on the ground this week, or for Zimmer to once again pull a rabbit out of his hat and find some way to out-scheme another coach. The example that comes to mind for me is when the Vikings went into New Orleans and switched Everson Griffin and Danielle Hunter from defensive ends into defensive tackles and just blew up the Saints offensive line the whole game. And so he could do something like that again, but his talent is so far depleted that pulling the old switcheroo like that, I don't see that working as well. On the bright side of things, the 49ers really don't have anybody who can keep up with Justin Jefferson as a receiver. And last week, after the Vikings victory, Mike Zimmer said he said he wanted Kirk Cousins to go for the jugular more. He didn't want him to play so safe. Right now, Kirk Cousins, I meant to write this down, but I forgot. He's thrown a boatload of touchdowns. I want to say like 20 some touchdowns and like 2 interceptions. He's having a very great, very safe year. Zim was saying he doesn't care if there's some interceptions here and there. He wants Kirk to go for the jugular, which has echoes my sentiments over the past few weeks. But I don't know if it's Kirk's fault. I mean, I know there are a lot of video breakdowns. There's a lot of video evidence showing that he checks down when there's people open, but it's a riskier pass or it's a deeper pass. I believe that. I do believe he kind of looks for checkdowns. But I don't know how you don't scheme then as a coach to have more downfield options, to have more aggressive options instead of giving him those, constant checkdowns. If you want him to be aggressive, you can coach him more aggressive. So I don't really know the finger pointing there. And I think Kirk came back with something like, I'm always going to play the same way, which hopefully means he's going to keep throwing lots of touchdowns and not many interceptions, and also not just dump it off to your fullback for 2 yards when you need 15 yards. I don't know. A boy can dream. All right. I'm excited for this game, but also pretty nervous. It's going to hurt if the 49ers just run the ball on us the whole game and we're left, trying to catch up in garbage time. I think it's a game the Vikings can win. I've said it 100 times. I think this team is a good team despite the defensive depletion that's happened and the weakness on the offensive line. I believe they can hang with anybody, but they have to have their ducks in a row. I mean, they got to keep the penalties down. They have to move the ball. They have to be aggressive. They can't try to just sit on the ball the whole game. Traveling west, I don't know who wins. I think it's probably the Niners because I'm a negative Minnesota sports fan, but it could be a very fun game if it turns into like a shootout. And if Eli Mitchell, the running back for the 49ers, or whichever running back they trot out this week, houses the Vikings for like 180 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns, hopefully that means that Cousins has to chuck it up to Thielen and Jefferson, and we scored a ton of points and come back at 6-5, above 500, and hoping to push for a wild card. All right. That's mostly it for this week. Speaking of doing live videos and stuff, I am going to be distributing some beers to some people who have been wanting to come on, and I'm going to try to line up a bunch of guests here before the Christmas season, try to get people on. And if I can get my ducks in a row and schedule something, it would be really fun to do a live stream where people can comment and, I don't know, ask questions or harass us. This is already 8.5 minutes long. My goodness. I'm long-winded. I hope all of you had a very, very happy Thanksgiving and ate tons of food and got to spend time with family. If you like your family, if you don't like your family, I'm sorry. And I hope you got to spend at least a long weekend alone with your thoughts or dogs. All right. I still do this as if I'm going to edit it later. So there's all these like little lulls as I try to think of the next thing. Yikes. Thank you again, Duluth Cider, for just a bevy of delicious, delicious ciders that I have enjoyed from your cidery. Try them if you can find them. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. And we are in the full grip of the holiday season now. Let's make it through together. Keep your loved ones close. Skull feeleth there. That basil. And go Vikings. Oh, yeah, got it. Click it twice.